Hello, my name is Parker Witch, and this is a channel where I read all different stories to you guys. Today we have chapters 6 and 7 of Nothing Left to Lose, a Pranxiety story by Shawnee VFX. That's Shawnee VFX. If you haven't watched my previous parts, then I do suggest you go and watch them, because otherwise it won't make sense, or you could just go read the actual story. I do apologize for Roman's voice in this. He's probably the hardest for me to voice, and in doing so he sounds a little bit like Logan, a little bit like Virgil, and a little bit like Janice, and definitely not like Roman, but it's okay. I am losing my voice, so I do apologize for that, but without further ado, this is Nothing Left to Lose, Chapter 6 and 7. Chapter 6. Virgil's point of view. I've woken up to the sound of car horns. When did I fall asleep? The last thing I remember was worrying that some homeless man was going to assault me in the middle of the night. I guess my plan to pull an all-nighter failed, and I quickly checked my bag to make sure I wasn't robbed. Thankfully, I still have everything. I slowly push myself up, hearing a concerning amount of pops as I stretch. Real question. What now? I can't exactly stay with family or at a friend's house, and park benches aren't exactly safe or comfortable. In total, I've got only enough cash for a couple cups of coffee, not 3 meals, not like I wanted to eat anywhere. I can't believe that I benched Janice. Now he's definitely going to be after me. No loose ends, right? To be fair, the guy was plotting the death of millions of people like it was nothing, like they deserved it. I'd expect that from Remus, but Janice? And for what? Just to prove a point? Just to show that he's dangerous and possibly a bit insane? Maybe that's why he hangs around Remus. In comparison, he looks like a normal, sane person. I step inside a local coffee shop after brushing my hair as well as I could with my hands, deciding to pass the time here drawing. At least I can enjoy the sweet caffeine in relative peace, while a large dent is made in my wallet. I could go to the heroes for help, yeah, or I could not do that, since they probably hate me. Even if they don't hate me, they'd arrest me on sight. But I can't let Janice get away with destroying the city, and the heroes would be my best bet at catching them. Great. So I get to choose between going to jail while taking Janice and Remus down with me, or I can just hide out and hope they don't seek revenge. God damn it. Does it always suck this much to do the right thing? Again, I'm losing my voice, and I'm so sorry for this next part. Roman's point of view. Kiddos, breakfast, Patton calls from the kitchen, interrupting my beauty sleep. I stumble out of bed and brush my hair before going out to the kitchen/dining room. No one is allowed to see me with bedhead. No one. Patton probably wouldn't care, but Logan would make a point to point out how disheveled I look, or whatever big word he would use. By the smell of it, Patton made muffins, eggs, and bacon. Salutations, Roman, Logan says, not bothering to look up from his book. Patton looks over her shoulder. Good morning, Roman, he says happily. At least one of us can be positive in the morning. He sets a plate down in front of each of us before taking his own seat next to Logan. Those two really need to realize that they have a crush on each other. It's been years since they met, and still nothing. I've seen the way Logan hides a smile when Patton makes a good dad joke, or the way Patton blushes whenever Logan compliments him. Hey, Dad. Hey, Mom, I say, smirking as Logan sputters. Roman, that is not accurate in the slightest, he says, still blushing brightly. I hum in thought. Seems pretty accurate to me. What do you think, Pat? He continues, staring blankly at his plate, face bright red. Moving on. Sorry, wrong person. Moving on. I have 2 tours to give at the planetarium tonight, so I don't think I'll have time to accompany you two on our nightly patrol, Logan says. Okay, but I need the car at 6 to go see my cousin's play, I remind him. I would be alright with walking. It is much more beneficial health-wise than driving. Breakfast continues quietly since Patton usually starts most of our conversations. Afterwards, Patton leaves for work while I do the dishes. Logan retreats to his room to work on some project, leaving me alone and bored. I could probably watch a Disney movie or two before work, so that's something. I decide to watch Beauty and the Beast. Belle may, or may not, have Stockholm Syndrome, but it's still an amazing movie. 84 minutes of pure Disney magic later, the credits begin to roll. A quick time check reveals that I have an hour before my audition, which should be enough to get ready. If I can nail this audition, I'll be able to play Jeremy here from Be More Chill or The Squib, but I'd rather not play the villain. After all, I am a hero. I stumble through my usual routine, making sure I look perfect. Sure, appearances don't matter in theater. Your talent and voice do, but a prince has got to slay. 15 minutes before the auditions are supposed to start, I'm in my car driving off to the theater. After performing Voices in My Head with a theater friend of mine, Valerie, I sit backstage as the rest of the auditions finish up. Anxiety slowly rises in me, ready to overflow, as some pretty great singers audition for Jeremy. Any one of them could be chosen over me, and I don't think I did too great during the line reading part of the audition. I'm much more confident and extroverted than Jeremy, and there are people here that would be much better suited for the role. One of my own theater friends sits down next to me after he auditions. "Hey, Kyle," I say. Jeez, I even sound defeated. "What's got you so down? You crotched it out there, like always," he mumbles the last part, avoiding eye contact. "Thanks, you did great too. You'd make a good Jake," I responded. "Are you saying I'm good at being a bully and an overall shitty person?" he asks sarcastically, though I swear he looks a little hurt at the idea. I laugh, hoping to relieve his nerves. "You know what I meant." He laughs as I check my phone, seeing that it's almost 6. "Oh shoot, I gotta go. Jamie's play starts in like 10 minutes. I quickly grab my things, letting the director know why I'm leaving. Not exactly a good impression to make, but at least I'm going off to do something theater-related. The school play is about as good as you'd expect from middle schoolers, but at least it's Disney, specifically The Little Mermaid as a play. It's pretty cute, so I enjoyed it. With Jamie as Ursula, after my family literally swarms her in the hall to congratulate her, I head home to meet up with Patton for the night patrol. The fresh air is nice, and you never know when evil may strike. Chapter 7. Bridget's Point of View. You never really get to appreciate the beauty of the city when you're running away from 3 superheroes. With all the lights on, it's honestly beautiful. Who cares if the artificial light basically makes stars impossible to see? If the heroes actually patrol every night, they'll probably notice me. Hopefully. Maybe. In the meantime, I draw the cityscape because exercise sucks. I'm sorry if you can hear the squeak in my voice, it's a little annoying. Suddenly someone calls out. "Hey, what are you doing up here?" they shout, scaring the shit out of me so much that I literally fall off of the roof. The only thing that keeps me from becoming a street pancake is my anti-grav boots, pulling me against the wall a couple feet down. I sigh in relief before turning around, seeing a very familiar hero looking over the edge. This may be one of the people I plan to see, but now that it's actually happened, I'd rather become that pancake. "Hey, Princey," I say, stepping back up, or lower, or taking a step back, or lower, I guess. "Please don't arrest me," I add without thinking. Popstar pokes his head over the side of the roof, too. "Hey, kiddo, you wanna get back up here?" he asks. Has he forgotten the whole criminal thing? Depends. Is he gonna snap me like a toothpick the second I get up there? I ask, pointing to Princey, whose frown only deepens. "No," he responds, glancing over at Princey. They step out of sight, and I slowly return to the roof, letting gravity take over. Princey crosses his arms, threateningly. "So, what are you doing here, villain? It doesn't seem smart, considering the recent stunt you and your teammates pulled." Wait, I hit a nerve. "They're not my teammates. Not anymore, anyway," I mumble bitterly. "What do you mean?" Popstar asks, looking like a confused puppy. Man, I really don't want to talk about this. Well, Deceit finally revealed his final plans or whatever, and I don't agree with him. So I sort of sucker punched him, I say, coughing afterward for an excuse to look away. Popstar looks surprised by the admission, while Princey mumbles more to himself than me. So that's where he got that bruise. So what are you doing up here, kiddo? Popstar decides to ask. Can't exactly go back to Deceit and Duke, and I was kind of hoping to run into one of you, I answered. Beating around the bush isn't going to get me anywhere besides the ground or a police holding cell. Popstar tilts his head to the side, and Princey looks back up. As stupid as it sounds, considering less than a day ago we were sworn enemies, I need your help if I'm going to stay alive. And right now, the best way to ensure that is taking the dark sides down. That certainly shuts them up for about a minute. So, are we teaming up then? Popstar says excitedly. Team up of the century, he nudges Princey. I don't know. Can we even trust this guy? He whispers to Popstar. Ouch. I say, trying to cover up how that actually bothered me. I shouldn't care about these pricks' opinions of me. But of course, my anxiety doesn't care about that. I don't exactly trust you guys either, but I'm willing to try and work together. Unlike some of us. But I decided it's probably safer not to. Unlike some of us, but I decided it's probably safer not to add that part. We both want to work together too. Popstar starts. Speak for yourself, Princey mumbles before Popstar interrupts him with a hand over his mouth. How about you come to our apartment since you need a place to stay, he suggests. I promise I won't let my roommates harm or arrest you. He raises his right hand in Scout Honors fashion, as if that would reassure me. As much as the stranger danger talks in school taught me, they probably don't apply to superheroes, right? Sure. Prove it, Princess states stubbornly. What? Asks genuinely confused. Prove that you want to help take Deceit and Duke down, he clarifies. Me admitting to punching Janice wasn't enough. Well, for starters, their real names are Janice and Remus. Popstar looks at Princey afterwards. Sorry, again, my voice is going out. Who looks almost upset by the name reveal. Instead of responding, Princey just nods and walks off. I guess that proved it. The Popstar silently gestures for me to follow him and Princey. Okay then. After walking through another block or so before reaching a normal-looking apartment building, this at least means they aren't kidnapping me, right? Our other roommate Delta should be getting home soon, if he hasn't already. I'll try to let him know about you, but he might have his phone off, Popstar says. How reassuring, I respond anxiously as we sneak through the cameraless hallways in Hera's apartments. Don't you guys ever go in through the window or anything so you aren't so risk at being seen? I ask, acutely aware of how anyone could be looking out their peephole watching us. With that thought, I pulled my hood down further. Even with the face mask, if anything, my mask will just make me more recognizable. But I also don't really want to take it off, even if they've already seen my face. He leads me inside the apartment, and I see Princey making tea. Well, we might as well tell you our actual names since we already know yours, Popstar suggests. I'm Patton, and this is Roman. Delta's real name is Logan for future reference. Great, I guess, I mumble, still feeling really awkward about all of this. The door opens, revealing a professional-looking guy. I apologize for missing the patrol, and what is he doing here? He asks, literally dropping his keys when he sees me. Konnichiwa, I say, giving a slight wave. Okay, quick question, buddy. Why? sucks. That's so me. Anyway, I sent you a text to explain, but I'm guessing you didn't see it. Patton says guiltily. Logan looks at his phone, reading through the text. So you thought it was a good idea to bring a known criminal into our residence because he told you to see in Duke's first names? Well, yeah, and he needed a place to stay. Logan looked ready to argue, so Patton added, just think of this as a way to keep a closer eye on him if you don't trust him. All right, but make sure it is known make it known that I am only agreeing because it has been a long day and I need rest. Yay, thanks, Luggy, Patton cheers, wrapping the logical hero in a hug, causing him to turn red. This might take a while. I'll show you the guest room, Roman says. When did he get up? I nod silently, following him. Okay, so I know I said that I was going to do chapters 6 and 7, but instead I'm going to do 8 as well, as an apology for being late not only on the last video, but this one. Chapter 8. Virgil's point of view. Ugh, why does the sun have to rise? I rub the sleep from my eyes as I sit up. Wait, this isn't my room. Where? Oh, right. Working with superheroes that were my mortal enemies less than a day ago. Seeing that it's only 5 a.m. and my body refuses to let me go back to sleep, I decide to pass the time by drawing. It makes for a great stress reliever, and I never got the chance to finish my drawing of the cityscape. I have most of the buildings outlined, I just haven't colored any of it, or really even outlined them. All I did was make messy outlines of where the buildings were. Eventually I hear someone knock on my door. Kiddo, I made breakfast if you're hungry, Patton calls. He's already made breakfast at... Oh wait, it's 7:30. Not your child, but okay, I respond quietly, talking more to myself than him. After a previous scan of my work... Sorry, my computer's glitching. After a quick scan of my work, I set my pencil down, relieving my sore wrist. I cautiously leave the room, not exactly trusting that I won't be attacked on sight. Princey did seem pretty peeved last night, and I doubt a good night's sleep would help too much with that. Once I accidentally open the door, I'm hit with the amazing scent of waffles. Janice and Remus both sucked at cooking, and I never really learned how, unless you count toast and instant noodles. At least if I die of food poisoning, it'll at least taste good. Patton is adding another fresh pancake, I thought it was waffles, onto the stack when I walk in, while Logan is reading at the table. Shortly after I sit down, Roman walks out into the kitchen/dining room. At least he has the decency to look tired, unlike the other two who must be on their third cup of coffee. He sits down next to me awkwardly, ready to attack me at the slightest hint that I'm going to betray them. So much for thinking I had earned his trust by revealing my teammates' names. How'd you sleep? Patton asks me as he sets down everyone's plate. Fine, I mumble through a bite of pancake. Again, I thought it was waffles, but it's fine. These are amazing, Pat, Roman comments, trying to revive the conversation. Patton beams. You say that every time I make breakfast, he points out, causing Roman to shrug. I still cannot believe you two told him our names without being sure of his true intentions, Logan comments, sighing in frustration. Hey, I trust him, Patton says, struggling to convince Logan. If he does turn out to be a liar, then you can blame my poor judgment, but no offense, I'm better at reading people than you. I had to add a little bit of sass, because child. Anyway. He's got you there, Teach, Patton says, waving his fork at the nerdy hero. Logan's frown deepens as he continues eating without comment. Logan smiles innocently, knowing he's won the battle. Cute. Where did that come from? You know what? I don't want to know. Hey, look, food. Hey, look, mind food. Wow. I remain antisocial throughout the entire meal, still not comfortable around these people. Of course, I'll have to talk at some point if I plan on feeling relatively safe ever again. For now, though, I just want to stay here, knowing that even if Janice and Remus found me, they wouldn't stand a chance against these three heroes. I had moved into the living room with them after we finished eating, so lost in my thoughts. It took me longer than I'd like to admit to realize they were all staring at me. So, Virgil, what exactly made you choose to seek us out in the first place instead of attempting to apprehend, deceit, and duke yourself? Logan asks. Oh yeah, questions. I do apologize if you hear that cut in the recording. Anyway. Might as well get it over with. Honestly, I probably couldn't beat them up without having a panic attack, I admit after a minute. And if I were to apprehend them myself, I'd feel guilty turning them in after everything. Guilty. Logan scribbles something down on a notepad. Has he been writing this down? It seems your relationship dynamic with Deceit and the Duke may be more toxic than a normal team dynamic should be. He looks at Patton, who nods in confirmation. Deceit is known as a manipulative snake. Has he been manipulating you? Roman asks, looking genuinely concerned. Guilt tripping is a common but effective method of manipulation, and judging by your admittance to feeling guilty turning them in, it seems that they did in fact use the aforementioned strategy. That being said, has Deceit or Duke ever made you feel negatively about something unimportant or something that was not your fault? Logan asks. I don't know, I said it like that, I'm so sorry. Well, he did blame me for any deaths caused by the explosion, but those were technically my fault. Look, I don't need some wannabe therapist. Sure, they were pretty shitty people, but they still cared more than people like you ever did, I say venomously. I'll take that as a yes, he mumbles, writing something down. Language, Patton mutters, looking guilty. If you knew they were Patton glares at him, crappy people, then why stay with them? Surely you could have taken care of yourself at some point. Roman questions. Not really. They took care of everything, and I'm too socially anxious to look for a job unless I need one. Logan stares at his notepad for a second. Would you mind clarifying that after everything means? Would you feel like you owe Deceit and Duke anything that would also support the idea that your relationship with them was manipulative? This guy really doesn't know when he's overstepping, does he? Well, he might have a point. Janice and Remus probably wouldn't have cared for me without my powers, but I can confidently say that they didn't completely manipulate me into feeling guilty for turning them in. That's kinda on me. Well, isn't that the point of manipulation, for the person being manipulated to not know? The only reason I feel guilty about helping you take them down is because the three of them seem to lean in with anticipation, because they saved my life. Yeah, that sounds like a great way to cut it off. Sorry, I do apologize for that, amount of racket. My brother isn't the greatest about respecting personal space, so he does know my recording times. Both of my entire family does, but they don't tend to care. I do really apologize for being late on uploads for the past 2 weeks. I am trying to get that back in line, but of course I'm not perfect. I do thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next week with chapters 9 and 10. Have a blessed day.